Guess what? I'm bi. I'm bisexual. You know what that means. I'm sexually attracted to bicycles. Hello and welcome to today's show. Guess what we're doing on today's show? We're talking about the closet. So, for those of you who don't know or don't care, I'm bisexual. I don't know if you've ever gave a shit, but there you go, the info's out there. This is me officially coming out of the closet, even though I officially came out of the closet way back a few years ago. The thing is about coming out of the closet is pretty interesting stuff. I thought I'd make an interesting episode of the show, talk about me and how, you know, my experiences with coming out of the closet as a bisexual man, a bisexual cis man in today's society. So today we're going to be talking about me coming out of the closet. I hope you give a shit. For those of you who don't know, this is just kind of a series I do every once in a while. I'll talk about a subject like working at Jimmy John's or working at Perkins or working at Walmart. So for today's episode, I decided I'm gonna talk about the time I came out of the closet. So basically, from a young age, I realized, you know, I was attracted to both men and women. And, you know, that's just kind of how I found out what was going on in the world, you know. Growing up, I kind of knew what was going on with myself, at the very least. I wasn't very confused, you know, as some people like to put it. And then, eventually, I decided to see if I was really actually bisexual. And I dated a man. That went up in flames, but that's the story for another day. Coming out of the closet was kind of a interesting ordeal. The first person I came out to was my mother, of all people. And she took it pretty well, honestly, all things considered. She was like, oh, it's okay, I still love you, you know. It doesn't matter who you like or who you end up with. I'm happy for you. You know, good on you, good for you. Let's go. We had just finished eating at Don Julio's. Shout out to Don Julio's. I love your food. Please sponsor me. But no, I came out to my mom right after we ate at Don Julio's. We had some Mexican food. I was out in the parking lot and I was like, yeah, I'll just fucking tell her. So I was casually like, you know, I kind of like both sexes, you know? I like men and women. And she was like, oh, okay. And it was probably the smoothest that could have gone, you know, because I feel like a lot of people are scared to come out and they're, you know, they're afraid of what people might think or people might say. But the first person I came out to was the most supportive person in my life, my mother. I'm not gonna put a picture of her, so here's a picture of Margaret Thatcher. And that was the first person I told that I was bisexual, you know, my mom. It felt like a weight was lifted off me because I didn't have to hide who I was anymore and I could, you know, talk about it at least casually in some regards. But yeah, basically I was like, hey, oh ma, I like dick and vagina. And she was like, cool. I told her before I had a boyfriend and before I was, you know, experimenting with my sexuality. So, you know, a year after I told my mom, I found someone I could date. At the time, nice boy, but I dated him for a little while, and after a while, it became harder and harder to hide the fact that we were dating. Let's talk about coming out of the closet to the rest of my family. So I was like, you know, whatever, let's just start telling people slowly. But yeah, I remember it was hard to tell people. I was scared to tell people. Because I was like, well, what if they think this, or what if they, you know, just decide they don't love me anymore? So the next person I decided to come out to was my brother. And let me tell you, that was weird. He was coming up the stairs, he goes to the kitchen. I'm on the couch with my boyfriend at the time, and I was like, should I tell him? Should I wait? Should I relax a bit first? Should I get drunk? That might be easier. No to all of that, because as soon as he came out of the kitchen, I'm like, hey, I got something to tell you. This is my boyfriend. And I remember at the time, I'm like, okay, you know, we're dating. And my brother was like, oh, I still love you. And I'm like, Let's feel good. Then we hugged. Me and my brother hugged. One of the very few hugs we ever do in the family. And the weird thing about coming out to people with a boyfriend is having to put an asterisk next to that statement and say, I'm bi, not gay. Personally, that's me because I couldn't be secure enough to just say, you know, boyfriend and leave it at that. I had to also tack on bisexual, just in case. But I feel like, you know, I had to clarify just because I didn't want to confuse people, because like that would be weird if I then went back and got a girlfriend. After that, the next person I came out to was my dad. He did not disown me, but I feel like part of him just doesn't like the fact that I like dick. What can you do? Dad did not take it the best. It was really hard to tell people, and it's a big rush once it's all out there. Let me tell you, it's like adrenaline pumping through your veins the moment you tell someone you're part of the LGBT community. The LGBT BLTQ plus community. And I told my dad, I said, this is blank my boyfriend. And then my dad was like, huh, that explains the pink pants you're wearing. And I said, haha, funny. And it was a big watershed moment because from that point forward, everything was kind of weird for a little bit with him. It's not like he was mean about it. He didn't put me down, but he did act a little strange, which, what can you do? So after I told him, immediately he's like, well, you know, your sister's here, you might as well just tell her too. And I'm like, well, you don't get to decide that for me, but since you brought it up, you're right. And the last person I got to tell, it was the last person in my family, immediate family, my sister. And she was just like my brother, extremely cool with it. Because who isn't cool with the gays these days? That's basically it. After I told everyone in the family, it was out there and I felt relieved. I didn't have to hide it anymore. And I didn't have to keep making excuses as to why my boyfriend was coming over at 10 p.m. and leaving the next day. I think my father kind of knew in the back of his mind because me and my boyfriend at the time were hanging out quite a bit. And it was kind of obvious what was going on. After finally telling everybody, I got to make it Facebook official. We came out as a couple and it got like 80 likes. So yay, we came out as a couple, like to the public, and it was cool. It was nice. It was like a weight lifted because we had been dating for like a few months before coming out as a couple. So it was like hiding it all the time, but then finally coming out, it felt like a huge weight was lifted and I didn't have to worry anymore about who I was telling and who knew, who was in the know, because now everybody knew and it was just easier. That's the great thing about coming out and why you should come out if you're scared. You might lose a few friends, your family might disown you, people might not like it, but at least you can be true to yourself and then take that and build upon it. This new person that is open about who they are inside can now make the foundation for what becomes the rest of you. You don't have to lie to people anymore, and that is the best feeling in the world, telling the truth. Pick yourself up, and be ready for whatever happens. But I feel like I can't really talk about this without talking about my experience with the gay community. I can't really talk about the good parts without also talking about the bad parts. Are you ready for the most tea you've ever gotten in your entire life? Well, let me tell you, we're about to get some tea up in here. I don't know about you, but my experience with the gay community was not the best. I had dated my boyfriend for about 10 months and then I broke up with him and bada bing bada boom, I was like, you know what, this ain't working. Sorry, goodbye. And that's when everything collapsed. All the good shit about being bi was now out the window. And I can sympathize wholeheartedly with the gay people who do not want to date the people that have fucked their exes. Boy howdy, we're about to talk about what happened after we broke up. So I moved on and tried to, date some people. I tried to get out more and go on dates and all that. Little did I know The scheme he was cooking, we had a road trip planned for that summer, so we broke up in like, I don't know, March or April, and then we had plans for June and July or something. And we went to Kansas City, and it was an okay trip up until the part where he tried to force himself on me at the end. That was kind of fucked up. Everything was cool on the road trip up until the point where he tried to sleep with me on the last day, and then got really mad at me for not doing it, and then wouldn't talk to me the next day. He was trying to guilt me because I didn't want to have sex with him. We went on that trip, and then that was it for a little bit, and then I saw him at Walmart, and I was like, what's up? And he's like, well, I got some stuff to tell you, but I guess I'll just text you. I'm like, oh, kind of vague, but cool, whatever. And then I got home to change my spark plugs, and then he sent me 3 massive text boxes explaining that he was sleeping with several different men. He had slept with 7 men since we broke up, and that he was trying to shove it in my face and trying to make me feel guilty for not sleeping with him. In vivid detail, he sent me all these people he had slept with and what their nights were like and how they acted in bed, and I was like, okay, this is kind of fucked up. And on the spot, I had a little mini panic attack, and I was like, okay, this is fucked. Why is he sending me this? Oh my God. And it was not great. If you're ever desperate enough to go back to an ex and try to hook up, let me tell you very personally, it never works. So basically, I found out that my ex had slept around so much, and it was absolutely vile and disgusting and made me want to vomit. But that was kind of a personal issue. So basically, that's what happened with my ex, and then me having to deal with that was basically just, I felt insecure about myself dating someone that my ex had dated. And that's when I found out what happens in the seedy underbelly of the gay community. Lots of hookups, basically just sex everywhere. That's it. Especially on Tinder, and you know, that is a mess. Like, everyone is so horny on Tinder, it's unbelievable. What's worse is my experience with the gay community. Nobody likes condoms. Condoms are amazing. Wear a condom. Sex is great, sure, but it's not the only thing that holds up a relationship. I have never met a community that has been both extremely accepting and extremely toxic at the same time. I had a lot of good support from a lot of people that really, really wanted to help me and, you know, support me coming out of the closet. But I also had a lot of people that were just kind of toxic that I didn't want to be around. My experiences are not wholly representative of the LGBTQ plus community, but, you know, this is just kind of a window. Here's my view into everything. So, Grant, why are you talking about this? I figured I'm talking about coming out of the closet. I might as well talk about my experience. Whenever I went out on a date with a man, they were always really horny. Why? My experience dating men was just really, they were always horny and they always wanted sex, and that was pretty much it. Now, for those of you out there that have dated people that turned out to be normal, I applaud you, because I wish I had dated normal people. Rant over. But yeah, that's basically just, you know, what I had to say. Figured I should talk about it since it's basically the same kind of subject as coming out of the closet, is also dealing with the gay community and, you know, what happens when you do come out and you're suddenly accepted into it. And I'm not saying you have to be gay to be a part of the community. You can be straight and still, you know, support your gay friends, support your bi friends, support lesbians or trans. If you like the video, go ahead, hit subscribe if you feel like it. Let me know in the comments what kind of videos you want to see from me. I know a lot of people seem to like the working at videos, so I might do another one, a few more. I've had 2 other big jobs, so I can tell you all about those if you really want. Leave a comment, leave a like, hit subscribe. Tell me your thoughts on Palestine. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I really do appreciate anyone who watches to the end especially. So thank you for watching. Have yourselves a great day and hang in there.